All right, good. No one's here, so which means that uh, I will be. Hey, what's up? So I'll be tying a saltwater fly because I want to try out at least have a fly in the box. And we're going after tuna, and maybe one of these days. Hi, Isaiah. Yeah, I'm gonna tie like one of my saltwater flies, and this is a circle hook. So I'll see if I still know how to do things. Been a while since I've done one of these. So you know, um, and I think this particular one that I'm doing is actually going to be it's gonna take some time. Okay, there we go. And the unique thing about this is that I'm just gonna be using like a single material, and it's just gonna be this hair right here. It's just, I mean, it has a lot of names. Congo hair is one of them. You know, you can buy them off eBay, and you'd be using a variety of glues. And then I think the thing here is that I'm gonna be using uh, the eyes that I'm making for this. I'm making out of aluminum tape and electrical tape. That's something you guys should actually kind of should be fun. All right, so we'll do this the long way. All right, so this hair, right? So most of it's not even, right? Because I actually used this for like another project and stuff. So the most important thing when you're doing something like this is to actually get the right amount each time you take a hank or you take off the hank. Okay, and a general rule is to actually have. Yeah, it's an owner. It's an owner. Yeah, and the general guideline is to actually take half of what you think you need. Right. So proportioning is a big thing, and takes a while. I don't have proper scissors. I'm using this. Okay, now I have to decide exactly how long the fly is gonna be. So in this case, the guide would be the length of the shank of the hook. So I'll do one, two, 2.5. Okay, there we go. That's it. Now I have a stray one right here. I have to take that off. All right. So I'm gonna put that there, like so. Right. That's the tail. Now I'm gonna go back. Okay. Then I'm gonna do one, two, three. Okay. Just like that. Then I press on this. And when I press on it, what happens is that it actually goes around the shank. Right. Now you can see there like that. And the thing, there's a lot of tricks when it comes to like fly tying. Okay. And one of them is that when you're pulling, always pull down. Don't pull when you're up here. Okay. So you have a couple of wraps to secure, and then the next few wraps, okay, that literally pins it down. And you don't have to put a lot more wraps than what's needed. Okay. We're gonna do this like really simple. Okay. A very good habit to have is always put a half hitch. That way things don't unravel. And remember, I'm using nylon here, which is not the most forgiving when it comes to threads. Okay. However, the good thing about nylon is that it disappears, and that's what we're gonna do with this one because we're gonna make like an epoxy body with this. Okay. So what I'll do now is actually cut this right here. Okay, there we go. We're not gonna throw this. We're gonna set it aside. Okay, then wrap. Okay, now I am going to have hitch there. Uh, okay, you're not seeing the whole thing, so I'm gonna back it up like that. Then we're gonna go like that. Much better, right? Okay, so that thing's not going anywhere. Super glue is your best friend because with saltwater flies, they tend to get busted up a lot. The fish are just way more aggressive than freshwater fish. Majority have teeth. Okay, so clean this up. Right. So with me, with super glue, it's it's very easy to go overboard, and that's more than enough right there. Okay. So a lot of people would smear that, give it a bath or something. Don't. It's it's gonna ruin your day, man. All right. Okay. So now I can actually put on more wraps, and what happens is that kind of presses the glue in. Okay, just a few there. Okay. Now I'm gonna start a bit forward with where I ended, and what I'll do is I'm gonna divide this by two. Okay. And then I am going to pull the fibers and roll in my fingers and actually kind of make a taper like so. Okay. And once I get the taper, I'll put that right there. Okay. One wrap, two wraps, three, just to keep it in place. I will push it so that it comes to like one side. And then I'm gonna go sideways like this. Okay. And take the other half and put it there. Okay, just kind of, there we go. See? One, two, three wraps. Press to the side, and that makes it kind of equal. Like that. Then one, two. There we go. So basically, I put the fiber all around as well. Make sure there are no trapped ones like this one right here. And I'm just gonna pull that there. There's another one. You'll see the loops. They're not gonna be that many, but I mean, it doesn't. If it doesn't bother you, just leave them. Okay. So there, and then I'll put a half hitch. Hello, Puja. There we go. So, right, and the reason why I'm tying this actually, let me just give you a heads up, is because um, there are times, okay, that I want to cast a fly, and I always don't have like a fly in the box. It could be that I have a fly rod with me, and so from time to time I actually carry a fly rod just for the lols, just for the heck of it. So, um, but I don't have a fly in the box. So na take a fly at least to use in the box. All right, so that's basically it. Okay, so as you can see there, and then I'll put a wrap in front, something like that. Oh, it slipped. There you go, just like that. And then you'll find that it kind of forms, uh, like a flare, and that's what you want. All right, looks okay so far, yeah. Right, and then wrap, then super glue time. It's going to be quite a few bits of super glue for this one. I mean, we want it to be uh, tough. So I'm just going to put, especially the wraps, you know what I mean? And this is also why I'm using nylon, because nylon, it takes super glue really well. And this, guess what this is? It's also nylon. So basically, we're doing like one material for now, except for the hook. So, all right, that's that. Then just wrap in front so that it doesn't move. Half hitch. It's easy. I mean, this is easy. Now, now also, I'm pretty sure you'd ask, like, no flash, right? I'm not gonna put flash. The thing with this fly is that it's all white, so it will represent kind of like any type of bait fish that's out there. At the same time, you don't have to put flash because it's white. And believe it or not, for something like this, when you hit when it goes into the water, it becomes semi-translucent, and that's all you need. Now, on very sunny days, that's it. This is like a killer. All right. So remember when I said about the hair? Okay. So being able to pull out the same amount consistently each time takes a lot of practice, and with a lot of practice comes a lot of mistakes, right? So you have to go through that crap. You really have to go through that crap. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this in half, and I'm gonna cut it. Okay, so basically we're doing the same bunch, the same amount of hair from here, 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 and we're just going to basically stack it going forward until we hit the very end. And then after that, we make, well, that's the finished fly. Um, this is easier. This is actually harder than it looks. It looks easy. Okay, so pulling the fibers, okay, as you can see here, I'm actually pulling the fibers and then rolling it so I get the taper. Okay, and you do that for both ends. Okay. Uh, okay, so it looks like I'm gonna have to cut this thing, because what you want is that to be shorter. Yeah, so it's very difficult to actually get the right proportion. Now, earlier we did the sides. Now we're doing top and bottom, because what we're doing here, and the reason for that, okay, the middle is not tapered. The reason for doing that is to ensure that all of the sides are covered. Okay, so here, okay, we'll cut this. One of my fly tying mentors, if he sees me doing this, he'll be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because there's actually a better way of doing things, right? It's just that this is kind of lazy and easier. Okay, so just kind of press it down. Okay, and then now, so earlier it was the side, now it's bottom up, right? So you're still covering the same with the shank and all that. Okay, so I'm arranging this so that I have a better taper. Okay, and then I'll put it there. Do 2 wraps. Okay, check. and then you see the blank part there, right? I press down on this and it disappears, right? Just coverage. Now, there's going to be some fibers that are sticking out from the side, and you don't want that. So, you move it to the other side, right? There. And then you'll see that it looks better. See? Like that. Adjust the hairs. Ah, not cool. Okay, watch this. See? It doesn't move. It happens, boys. Yes, that is correct. White can reflect a lot of UV. Depends on the time of day. Um, but white is in the IGFA. If you look at what color catches the most fish, it's white. Oh gosh. Okay. Because of the bend, it's not going in straight. So squigglies and all. Right? Hmm. There we go. So how I deal with this, pretty easy. Okay. I hold the material, wrap loosely. One, two, boom, tighten, bang. That's it. Okay. So from there, you go back to your adjusting so that everything looks peachy. There we go. Okay. Type this here. That. Now we'll cut this. There we go. Earl is rolling in his grave. Okay. There. So as you can see, it's actually the hard part with fly tying is actually picturing the fly when it's wet in the water, when it's swimming, So to be able to tie good flies, you have to actually have the kind of like the foresight, you know, to see exactly how it looks like when it's in the water while it's swimming, which is weird. But I guess after a while, you just kind of acquire that sort of thing. Okay, so we have one or two more. Okay, so again, take the same amount. That's this is like one of the hardest things I think for me while I was learning, actually getting the right amount of material, because it really is freaking easier said than done. All right, so that's that. This is a nice taper, right? But we can't use that. Fluffy boy. All right, so we're gonna use the back here. Just this a little bit. Taper, right? And then if it's too long, you just cut it. Okay. You don't want it to be too perfect, but you know. All right, go back here. No, right here. Right. See, just like that. I'm gonna lock this in. Two more. Then cut this. So there is two more. There. See the space. And then flip it over. So we're doing top, and then after this, it'll be the sides, just to make it like the head, to make it fuller. And the thing that I've been doing also with this uh, bottom part is I'll put it on shorter. Okay, because I want it to have like a sort of taper in the belly section on its own right there. And then what that does is it doesn't hide the the point. Okay, so now same thing. I'm gonna adjust the sides right there, and then tighten up and put two wraps. Okay, right. Cut this. All right. Now clean this up. Here, that's shoddy. There. Holy crap, that's dirty. Let's clean up a little bit. All right. Then lock. There we go. Synthetic hair. Yep. Synthetic hair. It's Congo hair. They have a lot of names. All right. So I'm gonna taper this again. Now remember, this is like the same stuff that same pretty much the same stack of hair that I used earlier. So I'm gonna go to the side here. Okay. Okay. So as far as the proportioning is concerned, it's like the same. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, cut that. I'll put that here on the side. Okay. I'm gonna take off some that are just too long and then put it like so. Okay, roll it around my finger so that it tapers and then cut the excess. Okay. Let's put that on the side right there. Okay, so basically you'll have something like this, and then you just spread it. Okay, we're gonna trim this to make it look better after everything. Okay, been a while since I've done something like this actually. There we go. All right, and then you just build a head. Okay, move the thread. Same thing. Got it from here actually. All right, so that kind of doesn't look like much, right? Now we trim it, right? You spread it out like that, and then what you do is actually just put a taper. So this one right here, right? So, also, by the way, it's better to actually come from the back and then cut like instead of actually cutting it like that, you're cutting it like that. Okay, so look at that immediately, right? That one. So cut the excess like that, and then just trim like that. So just a little bit of trimming, and then that looks pretty freaking good, right? Now, we're gonna put eyes. Okay. Now I'm gonna make eyes from aluminum tape. All right, and basically what it is just you punch circles. So let me get a punch. We have our aluminum tape here. Okay, so I'm gonna cut like a small bit, and then I do this for my lures. Then I have here, okay, as you can see, I'm already doing it like normally with other shit. This is um, electrical tape. Is there a reason to use a circle hook? Yeah, tuna, tuna, tuna are very notorious for actually uh, grabbing your fly. They take off, but you can't penetrate the mouth. But with a circle hook, you don't need so much force. So basically, you just hold, excuse me, put a bit of pressure, and then the hook does its job. So tuna, that's why. What the hell? Oh, there it is. I'm looking for like my small knife to clean this. What do you call this needle with? I usually clean it with the knife to free it from glue. So we're actually gonna be using uh, UV. All right. So I have this. I have this. All I have to get now is like a punch. All right. And I'm gonna do it here on the side, but you guys will see it with when I put it on here. All right. Okay. Hammer. Hammer time. I will look for my punch set. The hell? Okay. Where are the others? Ever since we moved, it's been kind of difficult to. Um, like they were taken out of their usual places. So putting them back is it's been a nightmare. Ah, shoot! Of course it's here. So a punch set, always a good thing to have for eyes. All right. So I take a this is a 6 mm and a 4 mm. Should be all right. Yeah. So a 4 mm and a 6 mm. Okay. So that's like the eye and the iris. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up because I use this for like all sorts of crap. And if you're using stickers, you just stick them on each other, and Bob's your uncle. If you don't use the stickers, then you're gonna use glue, and when you use glue, always a nightmare. Okay, now you're gonna hear thuds. Okay, so I'm gonna do two. That's one, two. That's oops, I lied. There's going to be another two in cleaner parts of the what do you call this? Of the tape. Now I'm going to get one, two. All right, so we have two silver dots, and then we have two black dots right here. Okay, and then I just take one of the black dots, and then I will put it on here, and voila, you got eyes, baby. There we go. I miss the creativity, that goes with this whole thing. I really, really miss it. One of the guys that I really look up to, his name is Fishy, Fishy Fulham. And what this guy does is he takes everyday objects, everyday material, right? He's famous for actually like making flies out of like everyday stuff instead of the stuff that you actually find in fly shops, you know. So you have your eyes here, right? And I'm just gonna position it so that it's easier for me. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it there, and bang. Yeah, yes, of course. But um, with the mono, they're not too visible. But if you're using other stuff, yeah. But with this, at least you can put it on the material itself, because that's exactly what I'm going to do here. There you go. God, it's been such a difficult time since having diabetes with bad eyes. It's been a struggle. Alrighty. So there we go. Right? Just like that. Now, let's just take UV cement and then actually, not UV cement. Why am I calling it UV cement? UV glue. Right? And then after that, you put it all over that thing and then zap it. And then it's good. So just like that. And as soon as you actually put the UV epoxy on it, the threads disappear. Build a nice head, just like that. And then I just turn it around a few bits, a few times, just so it gets distributed, right? It's not the best, but that will catch a tuna. I've caught tuna with uglier flies. All right, so there's stragglers here that I'm gonna cut. Okay, and there goes a very basic minnow fly. I would say basic. I mean, it's not complicated at all. Okay, just so this UV, even if it dries up here, I usually just stick it and expose it to sunlight. Here you go. That's it. And like Poe actually said, when this gets hit by UV, they actually freaking glow, right? So I mean, you can't really see it on camera because of the light, but it actually changes color. You know, so white is always a very good color. So that's dry already. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it out and expose it to the sun to make it really cure. But yeah, I mean, easy. Easy. There are a lot of easy flies out there, and I think, especially with this, I mean, this is just kind of generic. I wouldn't say that it's something like a specific pattern. I guess uh, something out of Enrico's playbook, maybe, like, with a peanut bunker or something like that. So it's tied in that same vein, Enrico Polisi. So sort of like that, his method for tying these bunker looking flies. All right, so let me just show you. You can still adjust this if you want. Obviously, you can taper it, still cut it and make it more streamlined and stuff. But, like, okay, I'm just cutting like the stragglers so that it looks cleaner. But see, the cleaner it is, I've found that the cleaner it is, the not so natural it looks, because there's imperfection in nature, and the natural variations, they're not making everything look perfect, you know so there we go. That fly will catch tuna. I've caught tuna on uglier flies, to tell you honestly. But man, it's been a while. It has been a minute since my last fly. So when it's in the water, it folds, right? Forms this little body, okay, like that. And then when you strip it, this tail actually kind of moves. See, and it becomes translucent. So when the fish see it, it really looks like a natural bait fish, and that's just because of the silhouette. So if you're casting and stripping with a fly rod, what happens is that it actually kind of pulsates. So this collapses when it goes forward, and then it opens up when it pauses, and then it kind of sinks down, and then you pause it again, so it kind of swims, and then the tail moves up and down. And yeah, that's kind of like the appeal of this thing. And for something that has like something very simple action, so to speak, because it's not like it wiggles or anything, it just goes straight. But it has that little wiggle on the tail, makes it like super, uh what do you call this, and you can see here it's 3D, right? It's not like flat, so there's a shape to it, and that's contributing to like the shape. And apparently also the sonic resonance underwater, it sounds or vibrates like a bait fish, and that's what they feel on their lateral lines. So that's it. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna end this here because I need to take it out to the sun. But something different as well, you know. We'll call this the fluffy Rob. A friend of mine does this, right? But for some weird reason, it's upside down. When he ties, he can't tie it like right side up. He's Singaporean, Po. But yeah, a really good friend of mine, and he ties these things. And when he's finished, he goes like, "What the hell? Why is it that the fly is like that?" So normally, what happens is that yeah, it's a fluffy Rob, right? So normally when you tie this, you'll have like different colored material here, you know. And the good thing with flies also is that like the white flies like this, if I wanted to have like a different colored back, I could just get a marker and color it, you know, put stripes and all this. You can't do that with obviously with other colors and stuff, but with this you can because it's white. Okay, so let's tidy up a bit. You could get really like absorbed doing this, man. Like making it as perfect as you can. It's like someone with OCD. You know, this is like your playground right here. So see, you realize what I'm doing this. Hey, good morning, Charlie. You realize what I'm doing here, right? So here, right? Okay, you guys see exactly what I'm doing here. Who can tell me? Who can tell me what I'm doing right here, like that? When I'm doing this, yeah, Paul. Exactly, Paul. Like 30 minutes is not even it. You know, you can spend like hours and stuff. But guys, you know what I'm doing here? I'm trimming its ass hairs, right? So there you go. You know, just to make it look kind of as good as it can be, right? You can go so anal on this. Oh my god, man. You know, yeah. So see, you can see that it's slowly looking a bit more and you know you're angling and stuff like that, right? That should be it. I mean, I can't do more than that. So see, it's asymmetrical. This is shorter. That's the taper here is a bit longer and stuff, and it actually helps it swim better because since this part is heavier, this fly will naturally flip on this side, and this top here floats, right? So what happens is that since you have more of the hair here, this is cut shorter. It just helps it stabilize and flip like that. Alrighty, cool. I'm gonna put this in the sun. Kind of. I mean, you don't need to, but I don't trust the UV stuff more than I do with the old school epoxy. And I was decent with epoxy actually, like pretty decent. Probably down the line, I'm gonna share like a more complicated pattern, like a shrimp that I used to tie. And I remember this, Poe. Um, I used to go to Coho, and they asked me, Coho is like one of the places that I actually used to hang out in when I go to Singapore. So back in the fly fishing days, and um, I buy material there and stuff like that. So uh, Pak Amin would be there. Uh, who else? Jude, of course. Henry, my friends Leng Chua and all that. Um, uh, and then there's this fly that I used to tie here, and we were catching grunter with it, and it's very effective. So they actually asked me to do a demo, and it was so funny because remember Coho was like a small shop, right? And there were like a shitload of people there, and they got so excited because um, this friend of mine, Leng, he goes like, fuck your crazy Charlies. He goes like, fuck your crazy Charlies. He has a fly that even if you throw it on the wall, it bounces 3 times or whatever, and when it lands on the floor, it always lands hook point up. And they were like, what? So they had me tie that fly, and then after I tied the fly, right, the fly tying vise was like upside down. I took the fly like this. I released it, and then, hey, what's up, Abdul? And then it dropped to my hand, right? And then everybody was looking, and they were like, "What the hell?" It flipped, right? And it was like right side up. And then and remember, there's like a huge crowd around me. The shop was practically full of people. And then I go like this, and then everybody just formed like a circle. And then they go, "Okay, okay, 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 throw, 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 throw." So I threw it up, right, towards the ceiling, and then it went down, hit the floor, it bounced, and then boom. And when it landed right side up, dude, everybody started screaming and clapping and shit. That was funny as hell, you know. And then and I remember this. Pak Amin, yeah, Po, it was so funny. It was cool, but I didn't even know these guys, right? I didn't know like a lot of them. But what do you call this? Leng was the one who told everyone like, hey, if you want to learn, like the fly tying crowd or fly tying crowd there. And then he was saying that Leng's like my pimp, you know. I call him Sifu, but he's like my pimp. He's the guy who actually like um there were a group of guys here like South Africans, and they kind of didn't like how I was doing things. You know what I mean? And because when I started fly fishing, I didn't know what a difficult fish to catch was. You know, it was just fish that were a lot in the flats, and they were saying that milkfish is so difficult. Da 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 da, and then when I decided to actually like be serious with fly fishing, 3 months later I caught a milkfish, and I caught it with like I didn't catch it with a bread fly or chum. I caught it the proper way. So they were like, what the hell? He caught milkfish. And it wasn't that. When I cracked it, I caught 4 in one day. Like in one afternoon. When I literally cracked the code, I caught 4. Like bam, 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 bam. And actually on video. Oh, they didn't like it. And then the next fish that I caught and I was like having fun with were grunters. And at that point, I didn't know that they had a hard time catching grunter. So Leng would always be the one who would say like, "Hey, how many grunter have you caught?" Like when we meet each other in the flats, right? And then they would be like, "Man, I've been chasing grunter like the whole day. We haven't really caught any." And then he goes, "Kip caught 5." And then hey, show them the picture. I was like, what the hell, dude? So they didn't like me at all. Plus I didn't share the flies, because the reason why I didn't share the flies was because I was tying ugly flies back then, and I didn't know that they could catch fish. But guess what? It's what the grunter wanted. You chucked a fly that they tied, the very beautiful fly wouldn't eat it. My ugly flies they love. So I figured that, hey, I'm onto something here. Anyway, so um, I was catching the grunter until I had friends who also like in my fishing group that they wanted to go fly fishing. So I taught them, and then they started catching. So these guys didn't like that. So anyway, he was kind of like the hype man, right? So when I went to Singapore, he was telling everyone like, "Oh, this guy, he did this in Dubai. He did this. He's doing this and all that." And we were catching tuna on the fly, stuff like that. On the flats, we were targeting milkfish, grunter, brim, and whatever swims, treballies, goldies, orange spots, everything. So what do you call this? And yeah, there were like a faction of other people that kind of wanted to be on top, or maybe they were on top. I mean, there's no question. It's not like a. I mean, I was fly fishing I'm even now I'm fishing for myself. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm competing with myself maybe. But my not joining them, my not kind of like being one of them, I guess, because I didn't join them in their trips, or I didn't like mix with them, you know. I'm like what? The only Filipino that was fly fishing that time, right? So they were like, "Who the hell is this kid?" Anyway, so that happened here. When I went to Singapore, he would tell stories. He would tell stories, and then after that, when I finally visited, and he was like, "Hey, remember that guy I was telling you about? He's coming." And then people just were naturally curious and stuff. Hey, what's up, Brett? Nah, just storytelling a lie, dude. So basically, I tied a fly, right? So this one, I tied a fly, and then Poe here, he's from Singapore, and I'm actually telling a story about one of the things that happened in Singapore back in the day. Anyway, so yeah, I went, and then we had that little event and stuff, and that was funny because in the fly shop you have everything, right? And then there was a vice, and then they said like, "Hey, take anything you need, just tie that fly." So I was like literally looking for stuff, and then you know my materials, the stuff that I'm using, they're like not really fly shop stuff. They're like thrift shops, they're like hobby, what do you call this, like craft shops, not really like proper fly tying shit. So I was looking around for stuff that can be used for the fly, but not really the ones that I use for the fly, you know what I mean? Anyway, so that was it. And then Pak Amin, he was like, "Hey, he just got in, right?" And he got picked up from the airport, and then he came here, and you guys just asked him to tie, but poor guy haven't had coffee yet. So we decided to, well, they decided to have coffee, and dude, they closed the shop. They closed the shop. Oops, they closed the shop. They just put a sign that we're having coffee at the back. So everyone actually went to the coffee shop at the back, and then we were just sitting there, and if right, right, they do that, and it's so freaking cool, man. It's like, wow, this is such a cool like community, you know what I mean? So dude, we we went to the coffee shop, and then this is near the halal place, the Muslim place, so just at the back, and this was in Beach Road, right? So we were there, man, and then we were just telling stories and stuff, and then the stories that I told you guys just now with the what happened here. I mentioned that, and then you know and Pak Amin, you know he's just with his pipe, just listening and everything, and then he goes, you know what, it's common. He goes, like, these guys that think that they're kind of uh, like they're ahead of the game or something, you know. Uh, yeah, go ahead, Brett, because I'm gonna get some water and have coffee made for me as well. You know, I'm not gonna turn this off, but guys, what I'm gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna take the fly outside. Okay, I'll be back. I'll take the fly outside so that it can dry up. Alrighty, I'm gonna get some water as well. It's so freaking hot here. Just a second. Nine. Alrighty. It's it is about 40 something degrees outside. Freaking nightmare, man. Holy crap. We kind of have these kinds of storytelling and sharing session too at Henry's new shop. Another fly story. Exactly, Poe. So what's gonna happen if I stop by Singapore is because guess what? Before with Coho, that was literally a stop for me. So um, if I was in town, I'd go to Coho and just sit there, or um, my friends would actually pick me up at the airport, and usually it's for me I do an overnighter. I I have my flight. I take the flight to the Philippines. From here, I stop over. What do you call this? Stop over Singapore instead of actually flying direct before. I would stop over Singapore, and from Singapore I'd fly into Cebu. Um, yeah, Henry Lau, and I I I would take the flight the next day, right? So I land, say, in the morning or in the afternoon of whatever day, let's say Monday, and then the first flight out of Singapore to Cebu, I would take like the next day. So that was the usual thing. So um, some friends of mine would pick me up, and then one of the places that we actually stopped at was always Coho, because well, it was just there, right? Beach Road. The new shop is not in the Beach Road anymore. My wife actually went to the shop, you know, um, and I think also even in Coho, because she would fly to Singapore regularly, and then whenever I needed material, I just tell her like go to Coho and buy me these, or I just tell the boys, so I would tell Henry like, bro, I need like bucktail. It's always bucktail. I need bucktail or either him or Jude. You know, is it? I know that when he posted that, it looked like it was in a mall or something. Anyway, so my wife knows where it is because um, she literally went to the place before I did. Before I did, man. You know, so she uh, she went to the place. She actually bought material from Henry, and dude, they would know, right? When as soon as she walks in, it was like, oh, it's Kit's wife. So yeah, and I'm still like from time to time I get in touch with Henry actually. So there's some friends who actually want to buy a reel or something like that, and then I would recommend them, especially if they're from Asia and stuff. I would just recommend Henry. He's a good guy. Oops. Yeah, level two. That's it. Level two, because I know it's like what do you call this? But yeah, man. I mean, he's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. Um, Big smile on his face. I think the last time I went to Singapore, I was not able to go to his shop, and that was. Uh, but see, the thing is, when I went to Singapore, actually the next day we went to Indonesia. We went to Batam because the factories were there and our meetings were there, and then after that, we went back to Singapore. I fished with the boys, and then boom, went straight back home. The Changi Village, man. You know, of all the shops in Singapore, the shops in Changi are the ones that I really like the most. If you know what you're looking for, they have stuff there. You know, Plus, these are like the Poe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I find okay, I find the Changi tackle shops, I find them to be like the tackle shops of the ordinary guys, and the working man's tackle shops. There we go. That's why I like it a lot. You know what I mean? Because it's like um, they're not they're not coming across as like elitist or something. And I look. I don't. I'm not gonna say that. What do you call this? The other shops are elitist, or they're not friendly at all, because I've had like really good experience with um, Joe, and I met Pobeng. I don't know, is that your uncle? Yeah. Um, so I know Pobeng. I met him in the owner dealer convention. Like they have it in Osaka, and I mean, old school guy. You know what I mean? Old school guy, businessman, more a businessman than a fisherman for sure. But that's how it goes for most. But I mean, I walked into his shop. It was all right. He didn't know me then. It's fine. But you go to Changi, right? I'm telling you guys, and if by chance you actually go to Singapore, visit the Changi tackle shops, because I've never felt more welcomed, and that's no bull. That is no bull. I've never. Oh, Poe, thank you. I've never been. I've never felt very like as welcomed. It's like it's crazy how nice these people are. They're like, especially when they found out that I was from out of town. The very first question was like, "How the hell did you find this place?" It was so funny, man. And most of them are surf fishermen, so they're uh, very passionate about the beach and keeping it clean. It's to a fault. So these guys are really good. So if you yeah, I mean, guys, if you actually go to Singapore, visit the Changi. Uh, I think Po. One of the things that I really like in Singapore, in the Changi, what do you call this? They're so fucking resourceful, man. Yeah. It's like behind the airport. It's literally we were going right, and I was like, dude, that's the airport exactly. We're at the back. So these guys, because my friends, they know my habits, right? They know my attitude, and then I kind of like, for me, I kind of like, their tackle shops are tackle shops, right? But I mean, um, after you buy what you need, you want to see stuff that you don't see every day. And I think Changi actually gave me that, Plus, the food court there, holy shit and a half, man. It's so cheap, and the food is really good. So, that's just for me. That was such a big bonus. Mr. Stewart, coffee. So, you know, definitely something like, and you'll find stuff that's made in Indonesia, made in Malaysia, and they're not necessarily the best, but you'll find some very innovative um, home brewed stuff, like the rigs that they have there. And when you look at it, it's just like, what the fuck, man? Nasila kemak, dude, what is that? Because when I'm there, you know, I always tell my friends that order nasi lamak. Holy shit. Like, dude, when I'm there, usually it's my friends who just say like, okay, this place has good this, and then they'll be the one to order, you know. And the only thing that I kind of order myself is the drinks, but all the rest they'll be the ones that, like, buy this from here, buy that from here. This is good from here, and they're all foodies, so I just trust them, you know. Plus these assholes, you know, um, they're older than me, and one's a retired cop, so he has pension, and he fucking tells me that his life is boring. So he says like when you're here, it becomes interesting. So uh, I spend for you for the food, you know. Uh, yeah, they pay for the food, and geez, we just hang out, and then I just tell them like, listen, I have to pay for coffee, at least. Um, but yeah, man, a lot of good and fun memories in Singapore. My next visit to Singapore is long overdue. Open fish market in Singapore. Seeing what is caught there. Yeah, that's right. Dude, this guy was part of the investigation team, right? Like a special investigation team. So he's like way out there, right? He's like way out there, and the kind of stories that he tells when we're fishing, dude, it's like crazy stories. And he was a detective, in the Singapore police force, and he came. It came to a point where he was like a trainer. So after he retired in Singapore, the Abu Dhabi police actually hired him as a trainer. He was that good and well noted. You know what I mean? So when he finally called it quits here, went back to Singapore, and I think his son is a police officer, his daughter as well. Like they're all cops, even his wife. So now he's just kind of taking it easy, and but when I visited them, he was just he like retired from here. That was the second retirement and stuff. So he's bored shitless. I'm pretty sure that he found something to do, but you know he's like a really cool old dude, OG, like really OG. And another one, that's Samat. His name is Samat. Samat Ismail. Like, what do you call this? Really good friend. And then we called him Uncle Samat. And then there's Leng Chua. Okay, so Sifu, as we call him. And OG old rod builder, and he was always on top of the curve when it comes to like tackle and fishing tech. And he used to tell me like, man, being on the leading edge of this whole fishing thing, it's fucking expensive. So yeah, you know, uh, holy shit, man. That was when I think, because we were here in the Middle East, we were literally the very first people to use JDM. You know, so and remember back then, okay, early 2000s. Oh no, not early 2000, early 2010s. So the early 2010s, um, there's very little that you can actually buy outside of Japan. So you had to go to Japan, you had to buy in Japan. There were no shops, or not many online shops, and it was very difficult to actually purchase and ship out of Japan. So we had like these weird accounts that we had in Japan, like the mailboxes and stuff. And we would transact blindly. you know, um, translate the page. Look for someone to translate it so that we would know, um, and then just fucking figure things out. Now, Lang, he's like a light tackle specialist. He's like in the group. I think he's like the most masochistic because he'd go after like mackerel with a 2,000 sized reel. And that before it was 1,000, and then I told him like you're severely undergunned, dude. And then he switched to a 2,000. You know, Samat actually he was like a collector. Because he didn't smoke, and he told me like when he stopped smoking, he had a lot of money saved up at the end of the month, and he said that's when he decided to actually collect tackle. So he would always buy the latest and the greatest. So just because he said that it's either that or smoke. So the money that he saved by not smoking is the money that he buys the tackle. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, Geez, I don't know if I could call mine a collection because it's like a working collection of sorts. It's not that it's like for me it's tools for work. You know what I mean? Instead of actually tools for a hobby or something, or toys for the hobby. My um that's that. Anyway, so uh and then Kelvin is also Singaporean. He's younger. He's my age, and he's the father of shore jigging, I would say, or the godfather. Put it that way, the godfather of shore jigging in the Middle East. Because without him, um, oh yeah, it's a lot healthier than smoking and a lot more expensive, I would think. I used to smoke, up until I got hospitalized. So that wasn't cool. That was very abrupt. Like the way I quit was so abrupt. It was nuts. But then I always told myself like, if there's something that would make me quit, it would be that. And true enough, holy shit. Uh, the doctor just told me like you only have 20% heart function. Like what the hell? So that was it. After that, it's like cold turkey. It's either that or you die. So hey guys, by the way, have you guys seen like Dwayne Johnson? How he looks like now? It's all over the news, man. Like The Rock. Have you guys seen? Like, it's amazing how he looks like now. It's nuts. Like, what do you call this? This literally happened to me. So I'm thinking that the way this happened is because of uh, Brett. Um, Dude, I'm telling you, man. Yeah, Poe. Later. Thanks so much, huh? Take it easy. Yeah, but what do you call this? Like how he lost the weight. It's literally. I'm pretty sure this is a heart thing, dude. Like, look how he looks like now, man. It's insane. That's him before. and that's kind of how he is now. He's like thin as hell. So that's why they said like from the rock he became the stone. Thin as hell, dude. It's crazy. And how he actually like lost the weight is kind of insane, you know. Um, hold on. Where is that thing? Dude, it's not. No, this is wrong. Like there is like what do you call this? There is actually a picture of him there. This picture right here. You know, so you can see how small he is. Got off roids, 100%, man, 100%. Hold on. There should be like a picture that's better. Um, it's like Triple H, the same thing, right? There, look at that. Like, how could you be that small, dude? Look, that's insane, man. Um, I'm willing to bet it's the heart. I'm willing to bet that he actually has stents now. Because that literally happened to me, right? So basically, what happened was that um, when they operated, it's a small procedure. Basically, you can see like a small thing here. Let me. Okay, I'm gonna mark it with a pen. Okay, I'm gonna encircle it so you guys can see. But there's a faint hole. What the hell? Oh, there we go. There's a very faint. Um, that there. Okay, there's a very faint scarring. You can see there, very very faint. There. So basically, what they did was to insert like a tube, right? Insert the tube around like that, and then it goes to the heart. And then there, they poke the artery, you know, to see if it's well, if it's blocked, they'll try to poke it, and then when they poke it, right, they insert like something that like a tube, and then they expand the tube, and then they put something in there like what they call a stent. Okay, um, so it's basically tubes to keep the artery open. Is it artery? Anyway, yeah. So what happened there is that I have like two or three, right? And the doctor told me that he like, okay, put it this way. It's this guy. It's this bad, guys. The doctor actually said like in my entire career, and this guy's old. He has like white hair, you know. Um, he told me like in my entire career, this is the first or the second time that I have seen something like this with you. Okay. Yeah, Brett. But imagine, I'm like 46 at that time, right? 40. No, I'm 47. I was 47 that time, or 48. And these things usually happen when you're way older. But I'm in my 40s, so like what the hell. Anyway, um, after that, I wasn't allowed to eat anything salty, sweet, and all this. Like man, it was like eating paper every day. It was miserable. And guess what? You will lose weight. So at one point, I was like really thin, just like him. And then over time, I gained weight and stuff like that because everything started getting back to normal. But that was it. That was like terrible, man. Like, and imagine this whole time when he did this, I was looking at the monitor and I was seeing what he was doing, and it was like so fucking freaky. Um, because he told me like you can't be asleep. 49, Brett. I don't mind at all. I don't freaking care. I'm Asian. I look younger than I am. You know, I'm like I could go to Australia, tell everyone I'm 23, and they'd freaking believe me. I could go to the States and do the same thing, but then there's a lot of Filipinos in the States, right? But yeah, man. I mean, I'm 40 freaking nine. I'll be 50 in a few months. Yeah, yeah. Still very much so. I mean, like, but geez, I'm younger than I look. I think like even my dad. You know, um, it took a long time for him to look old, if you know what I mean. Um, and what was weird was when he started to look old, it was like boom, he's old, right? So a few months before he looked young, and then bang, he just looked old one day, and he started looking old the whole time after that. I guess that's like for our genetics is like that, because like when I was dating my ex-girlfriend, right? We went to the casino. I'm like older than her. I got ID'd, and she didn't. It's just like she could go in, and then they were like, "Hey, let me see your ID." I was like, "What?" You know. So I've always kind of looked. I don't look my age, and more importantly, I don't act my age. But yeah, I mean, with the Rock and everything, holy shit, man, that's scary. The Rock, like the wrestlers, dude, like um, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, you can see them. Bautista, they're all like looking weird now, after getting off the roids, you know, just shrunk down. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And I don't know, man. I mean, I guess there's also like the the thing that affects them mentally too, right? Okay. Oh. Now let me ask you guys this. Charlie, um, what are you planning with like the what do you call this? Assist hooks and what do you call this? Like slow jigging and stuff. You know, um, what application are you looking at for that? Oh, jeez. The next topic that's going to go public is ultralight lures and the nuts that I use. And then ocean fishing in Minnesota? Or are you planning to actually go somewhere? Like, oh, got it. Tuna. Jeez, really? I mean, I think one of the things that you should expect with the tuna is the strength. You know, when you hook a tuna up, it's raw power. It's raw power. Um, the very first time I hooked a tuna, um, I couldn't believe that. At that point, I didn't know it was a tuna. When was this? Like I was 10, 9 years old. And it was a skipjack. It ate like a CD14 or something. Anyway, so you know, when you first hook a tuna, and this was with trolling gear, but when you first hook a tuna, you wouldn't believe how you can't stop it. You know, um, Alaska halibut. I want to do that actually, dude. I'd really want to do that. But first time I hooked a tuna, I couldn't believe how much it could peel drag because even with barracuda, a good sized barracuda or a good sized king mackerel, when they hit, you feel them slowing down because of your drag, right? And at that point, remember, I was kind of new to the whole thing, and I was using like relatively heavy tackle. So that was 50-pound test, and you have 12.5 pounds of drag. So when the fish hit and it ran on 50-pound test, that was like that would kind of surprising because I've caught other fish before, but with the tuna, it seemed like this is a big fish. And then when I got it both side, I was like, what the hell, man? It's not that big. So it was like I don't know, probably a 7 or 10 kilo skipjack. And geez, I have a picture of it somewhere. I'm not too sure. But, you know, it surprised me. Now, you know, moving forward and everything, the reel and the rod I use for bigger tuna than what I first caught when I was a kid. Um, it's actually still 50 pound, but it's smaller, right? The Stella 6000, and then the rod is longer, and it's a casting rod, and it's a bit more hand to hand. Let's say, uh, casting it, reeling it in. I mean, you guys saw the video, um, shit like that. And when the tuna hits and then it runs, you know, it still surprises you, right? Yeah, man, 20 pound. Wow, king salmon. Holy crap, that's a nice fish. But yeah, I mean, the tuna is it's a good fish, to target. Um, like for me, I just don't like it though. Honestly, if there's other fish to catch other than the tuna, I'd probably choose that other fish, not a dorado, but something else, because we catch too much of them here. Like what do you call this? Okay, hold on, let me show you guys a picture. Uh, I'll find it first, and then I'll show you guys. But I mean, if you actually get into it, uh, um, okay, let me look for the picture. But there's times when you know the fish almost just jump on the boat. Here, here's one. Okay, so let me show you guys this. So there, so there's this one afternoon, guys, and we were casting poppers. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you guys something here that what do you call this? That I don't know. You if you want to believe it, go ahead. If not, that's fine. But this is what happened. Most of the fish that you see there are mine. Okay, like between those like three guys, the one wearing yellow, the one wearing yellow cap, and then the blue cap, they probably had like four, five fish between them, right? And then the rest is all mine, even the Dorados. And guess what? I used a broomstick popper. Like literally, what I done was to fashion out a popper out of and then I used that, and it was so funny because um, actually it's probably one of the lures that I would like make on the lathe and show you guys how to make on your own because it's super fucking effective. Um, it was a broomstick because a broomstick is a dowel, right? So I cut that, made it like that short. I put a cup on it, and then I drilled the middle, put weight there so that it's always keeled, and then put weight at the back as well. And when you use this, because of how it's balanced, it actually dives down. It dives down, and goes up, makes like this really long bubble trail, and the fish home in on the bubble trail and sees it, and then just bites it. Um, but using that particular lure, I totally like pounded the what do you call this, the yellowfin that day, and they couldn't believe it. And it was so funny too. When I stepped on the boat, I actually said, I'm gonna outfish everyone with a broomstick," and they all laughed, right? And then I go, I'm not kidding. Just you watch." And then when we got to the spot with the yellowfin, uh, there were like a lot of boats, probably like the three nations worth. There's the Iranians, there's the Omanis, and then there's like the guys from the UAE, and they were circling this one boat that's docked in the middle of nowhere, and there were a lot of tuna there. But since they were live baiting, they were all live baiting. They actually kind of moved out. So you'll have the boat here, and then the whole lot of other boats that were there, and they were kind of catching one or two. And then there was us. And the trick was to cast really, really far. If you can get like really good distance, you pop it once or twice, and then you get the tuna. And I was out casting everyone with this lure that I made, and that's the story. So like literally 90% of the fish that you saw in that picture, and guess what? That was just the fish that's in front. Now, the fish actually covered the deck all the way up into the center console of the boat. So yeah, that was an interesting day. There's a video of me also. Uh, let me look for it actually. Not too sure if it's here, but here videos. Um, I was casting, and is it this one? There's I don't know where it is, to tell you guys honestly. I have to find it. But what it was like me casting, and then there's like a lot of people passing, and they couldn't catch anything, but they were just watching me catch fish. And at one point, they were actually, every time I hooked up, they would honk, "Na, na, 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 na," and this is out in the middle of the sea, man. And it they find it kind of, I guess, interesting that no one else is catching, and then there's this one guy who was consistently catching, and it was all yellowfin. Now this happens because they're releasing too much live bait in the water, right? So imagine like 100 boats, and they all have live bait, and they're throwing live bait in the water to attract the tuna and get them to frenzy. So when the tuna actually get on the live bait, and then they kind of get lazy, and then they just stop, and then they just pick out. So initially they'll catch a lot, and these are commercial fishermen, right? Initially they'll catch like a lot, and then it kind of tapers down. And when it tapers down, this is when your techniques would actually work. Dude, there's like videos that have that, and there's videos of me taken by some guys on the boat, our boat, right? And then there would be videos from other boats being sent to me, like, hey, is this you? Because they're all watching, and they're all wondering, like, what the hell is he using? There was this when I was testing this. There's a video when I was testing this, the prototypes, right? And I knew it was kind of big for the fish then, and that's also one of the reasons why I asked for a size extension, But this was introduced first, so I was testing this, and you know, I was getting like fish swirling from the back, so I knew that the fish would actually would if it was any smaller, the fish would bite it, but it was far too big. But the fish were still interested; they were chasing after it. And then, hold on, let me get the lure. Oh, guys, you're lucky. Guess what I found? All right, so before the Rapala, uh, there's this jet popper from Williamson, right? And it's still a Rapala brand lure. So I had this, and I took it, and I told my friend, like, dude, start filming. He was like, why? I go, like, the next few casts, I'm gonna have fish after fish after fish. And he goes, really? I was like, yeah. So I casted this out, right? And then it was fish after fish after fish after fish, and this was the honking time, So I was catching, and then the boats around us would just look, and no one else on the boat was catching, right? And then it was this, and it's the Dorado color, and it was fish after fish after fish, and they would just circle around us. They would honk and all this, and yeah, that was fun. All right, so I told you guys about the broomstick popper, right? This is the one right here. Small, right? And if you look, it kind of looks like an anal plug too, like an oversized anal plug. So, but look at this, right? I've already been doing like the assist hooks, the plug assist hooks. This thing, okay, it's keeled. So let me show you guys this. Okay, so whoop, here, right? So believe it or not, this is like I just made this now, right? So see, it's keeled, and whenever it lands, it will always roll to there. And when you when you actually pop this, it it dives down, swims, and then goes back up. So it leaves a really long bubble trail with super fine not gonna happen, not gonna happen. like it leaves like a super fine bubble trail and a really long bubble trail because it's so easy to actually manipulate with your rod, right? So I have an 8 foot rod, and when I swing it like that, it'll also travel like 8 feet, right? So cast out, boom, and then it goes down. It goes down, makes like this huge bubble trail, and then you can hear the bubbles going up. It's kind of like Coke. You know when you pour Coke and then you have the bubbles and then that sound? It's that same sound. And for some weird reason, the tuna like it. And also, that lure sits in the water like this. So, and the hooks are here. So what happens when you actually pop it? Boom, and then it goes like this, right? And the fish, it's so easy for them to eat it. You know what I mean? It's so easy for them to eat it. It's like in that perfect position for them to strike each and every single time, man. Like when the last video, right? If I had that popper, I I, I would have probably caught more. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna make more of those. Uh, Not right now though. It's like fucking 47 degrees out there. But yeah, that's when I have the weather behind me, right? We're gonna do that. We're gonna go to the shop. I'm gonna prop you guys up so that you can see how it's done, and then you know, uh, we'll do it from start to finish. That's a promise. That's something that we can do. And what do you call this? The effects of that, literally, it's like super good. There are other lures that I'm going to be making, uh, which are my versions for like the GT ice cream and stuff like that, made out of wood, you know, and that's something that everyone can do. You know what I mean? Um, I've got the ice for them and stuff like that. It's just that, like right now, it's not the most conducive uh, of times to actually make lures outside. It's like, holy crap, hot. Anyway, cool. That's that. I guess like been here for like what, almost 2 hours. Uh, what did we do today? We made that fly actually. You know, so for you guys who actually joined in later, you can watch the start of the stream and you can see the fly that I made, and I kind of miss tying flies. But yeah, tying that, uh, I think because it's easy to carry around. The next time I go out, I'm gonna have like a few of those flies, and then that's gonna be something that I'm gonna be doing. Just probably targeting a tuna on a fly, so at least there's something different. You know what I mean? Instead of just kind of gets boring. Um, oh yeah, from that one last trip, also, uh, I got some feedback that I sent to the president of SOM, and I told him that I want a different spool for the casting reel. So let's see if they take it on board. If they do, then that's gonna be fun because um, one of the things that I actually proposed was for the reel to, yeah, earlier today. That's a different stream. We made some wire assist hooks, and I don't know if guys actually seen it. Let me get it. So in an earlier stream, we actually made this, and that's wire core. And then we've made some other examples that you could actually use. Uh, but this towards the end, we made this wire core assist hooks. That's on a previous stream, but this particular one, I started with a fly, uh, and that's that. Alrighty, so look at this, guys. See the wind. See, I'm inland, so when the wind actually kind of picks up, what happens is that I cannot go to the beach side because the wind there would be like kiteboarding. What do you call this? Kiteboarding weather, and no bueno. one of the things that I really want to do is actually film um, how to manipulate jigs, with the different gear. So I have my long rod here that well, these two actually I wanted to take, you know, and actually show you guys um, how to manipulate the lures so that when you go shore jigging, you would know exactly what retrieves to use. Uh, and then I'm gonna have a little bit of a work that I'm going to do here in the computer for like just to show you guys at least an idea of how it should be moving, because when you're casting out and then you're manipulating the rod, and you're explaining stuff, you can't really show how the lure is working, right? And look at Rob. And then what do you call this? I think it's really, and these are very fundamental, by the way. Yes, Brett. Like I don't know if you've noticed, but I try to be really awesome for you guys. You know. No, man. Like, listen. I know. I know what a lot of people are going through when they're starting out, and there are a lot of doubts, right? And what I'm trying to encourage in the community, with the community here, is to um, uh, right, Rob's in and out. But what I'm trying to encourage is to have people have the confidence, you know, that when you're out there and you're using stuff, uh, what the back making loose, dude. If I had better weather, I'd be doing the same thing, because the intention. My wife gave me the garage, and you guys want to see the garage? All right, so let me like see that space out there. See, I have like what do you call this? Like my planer. There's a drill press that you see there. There's some tables and stuff like that. So um, my wife gave me the garage, and she said like you could put your stuff there. You could put machineries and stuff like that. So my plan was to actually like put a sort of insulation on the roof, so it doesn't get really warm, and then air condition it. And there's like what do you call this, like a light, well lit, so that we can do stuff there. Actually, that's supposed to be the fishing room. This would be like a studio where I would do like filming and stuff like that. But then there would house all the fishing gear. So it needs to be insulated, covered, and all that. And then another place I could make content in. And then I'm gonna make like a small workshop. That was the intention. But man, a lot of things that were unforeseen happened. So the budget for that kind of went out the door. So I couldn't do anything. But at least we have like the machinery is there, a lathe machine, drill press, what do you call this, planer. And then there's a lot of stuff that I could do content wise, right? ah, footy. Which teams are you guys like? What do you call this? Supporting. I have a lathe machine. I have a wood. What do you call this? A drill press, and then I have a planer. I have a table saw, uh, hand tools of all sorts. I have drills. I have heat guns. I have uh, what else do I have? I can have a bit. I have quite a few, dude. Too many to mention, really. Uh, the I have a milling machine, a mini milling machine. Okay. I do mostly wood, and then I could do like soft metals. But I don't want to touch anything else. Like I have like basic machining stuff, but I have a welding machine. You know, so like for me to make like welded rings and stuff like that, when what do you call this? When I need like an off size, or there are actually fucking jigs. Like take for example the Kensaki, fucking nightmare to rig properly. When they designed that, they didn't really think about quite a few things. Like the eye placement of the Kensaki is like really bad. So the way to rig it properly is to actually have two welded rings. One that will hold the assist hooks, and you can't use split rings on it. So we'll do that later on. But I needed the welding machine for that. Uh, and obviously, when you're making lures, the inside you can weld it so that it doesn't kind of move around and stuff. So that's one thing. uh, some rigs, So yeah, I asked for that for my wife. She was kind enough to actually buy me a small one, MIG welding machine. But yeah, the rugby that you guys have there, with the All Blacks and stuff, right? That's I don't know, man. Looking at it, it's like big burly guys going at it. I'm not the. When I was younger, I played like football, right? As a cross training to like martial arts, because I did taekwondo, and football was actually a very good way for us to practice our dexterity with the legs and stuff. So that was part of training. But other than that, I didn't really do much when it comes to football. I did like basketball and volleyball though. Like volleyball more than basketball. I was pretty decent in volleyball. And table tennis. Table tennis. I actually here. I'm gonna show you guys something. Yeah, this is like pretty cool. I guess. Where is it? No, not this one. Oh, look, this is one of my oldest rackets. Holy crap! You can see how old it is, and then, the rubber is like this one's. This rubber is like it's not even sticky anymore. This is like slippery. Um, a lot of the rubbers here actually need to go. Okay, so not here. But there's a special one here. And you guys wouldn't fucking believe it too if I showed it to you. Back there. Here we go. There. Yeah? So check that out. See? So this is a Japanese pen hold racket, right? And believe it or not, I just made this. So this plywood, just cut it up, and then the cork. This cork is funny, right? Because this one, later Charlie, thanks so much. But this one's actually from the IKEA, like what do you call this? Like coasters, like the big stuff, you know. And then I just went online to see exactly how the thing looked like, and then cut it. Yeah, this is two layers right here. I just glued it on top of each other, and then uh, there's that. But yeah, man. I mean, that's you know, that is the reason why these two are actually separate from those is that these are the main ones that I use, and this particular one right here is very different, right? So as you can see, this has like a short handle right here, and this is for what they call reverse penhold backhand, right? So when you're playing the backhand, the because I hold the racket like this instead of like a handshake grip. Okay, so um, normally with the Japanese style, you only use one face, but with this, you use two. So that's why it's like that. And yeah. Anyway, so I used to be champion for this back in the day. I actually have medals, and my cousin has. Geez, she was good. But yeah, I mean, it's like a hobby that very passionate about ever since I was like, younger, like in high school and stuff. In high school, no, in elementary, when I first joined the tournament, I placed third. Oh yeah, yeah. And it's all about anticipation in reading the ball, right? And then um, I don't know if a lot of you actually like pay attention to shit like this, but what it is like, when it bounces on the table, there's an optimal time to hit the ball, and that's when it's on its apex, right? When it bounces, and it doesn't matter what bounce it is. It's like a short bounce or a long bounce or whatever. You have to hit the ball at that apex, and when you hit it, you have to direct the ball to which part of the table you want it to go. So like, take for example, if you go like this, right, or whatever uh, hold you have, when you go like this and you hit it here, the ball's coming like this, and then you hit it, it goes there, right? If you hit it late, and you actually steer it towards the other side, that's your placement and stuff. But here's the thing: spins actually control where the ball's going, or if it's going, when it hits your rubber, it goes down or it bounces up and stuff. So that's the trick, reading that. So not it's not only um, fast, but at the same time you also have to really look at the spin, you know and then put a spin on your own. You counter the spin and put your own spin on the ball. Oh man, it's so fast. It happens so fast, and setting things up, it's fun. So even now, I mean, I know I'm not gonna be as fast as before, but man, when we used to play it, even like my friends, when I think in our old house, there was a table upstairs, and one of my best friends, um, he lived with us. Pool with paddles. Oh, I'm not bad in pool as well, because that, you know when I was doing taekwondo before that, we were playing pool in the complex. But yeah, man, I mean, it was so much fun. But the problem is, since I'm like, with this, I got to join competitions, right? So uh the sports that I competed in, taekwondo, table tennis, darts, pool, those four. What else? I did karate. I did MMA. I did in the earlier days. Okay, did MMA, kickboxing, karate. I wanted to do judo and jujitsu, but I didn't. So those ones basically. So basically, um, like with table tennis, it's kind of like my like in my nature, that when I play, I don't mess around. So it's a good way to actually lose friends. Because like, there's this really really good friend of mine, like a brother, really, Harry. And Harry and I grew up together. He's full-blooded German, okay, um, but grew up in Cebu, in the Philippines. And they used to have a resort up north. So, you know anyway, so Harry, he lived with us in our old house. Okay, so and we have a company together. So we were working and all this, but upstairs they had a table for table tennis. And when we discovered that, he was like, "Oh, dude, they have a table, and I used to play da 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 da." And he didn't know that I was really like, uh, ping pong. Ah, also apply assist hooks, trailing hooks for ice fishing walleye. Charlie, you know what? You might wanna let's do. I'm gonna do like a tying, live tying with tie rubber. Okay, and with the tie rubber, what we could do is actually scale it down. And when you scale it down, 100% you'd be able to use it for fishing. 100%, right? So I think you will need like an ear ball jig, which you have there. I'll send you a link, and then after that, we'll actually make something like a tie rubber, like a miniature one, and 100% you'd be able to use it in ice fishing because all you do is just literally just drop it and reel it slowly. That's all you do, and the ice fishing rod would actually be able to do it too. But yeah, let's do that. All right, and then I'm gonna show you like how to rig the hooks with the small hooks. I'm actually going to rig a small tie rubber, because I have the components to do that. So yeah. Anyway, so when we played, right, and he had an idea that I used to play, but he didn't know that I would kind of, you know, like hit him hard. So, dude, after a while, what was funny was that um, he learned how to defend, right? He would learn how to defend, and our volleys would actually last longer because immediately, as soon as he saw me like winding up, he would back away from the table and then boom, and then he would just like, because this guy actually watched the videos on YouTube with the how the Chinese guys are actually playing, and he saw that, oh, that's how you defend. So, I was like, probably we would be able to do like a volley 5 times before he would actually lose it, or I wouldn't be able to hit the ball. But man, he didn't like me that much after that. And then I had to find a way to actually play with myself because that was also a really good exercise, right? So I made my own like return, table tennis return. So I'd put it on top of the table and then just play with myself, play on my own. That was really bad, man. It's the easiest way to like lose friends would be that. Uh, okay. Uh, ha! I just found something uh, very interesting, but that's another thing for another time. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it now. Okay, so you guys have a great night. I'm pretty sure that in your area it's quite late. Um, I'm gonna try and do a video for what do you call this, for the ultralight stuff. Okay, I'm gonna do like the usual stuff that I do, like when we're at the pause. I wouldn't say at the end, but I'll discuss a few tips on ultralight. All right, and then before we park it, and as soon as we have like a bit of these topics that are hanging out in the channel, and then we'll look into them, and then we'll keep on populating them so that these playlists would kind of progress. Because at the end of the day, okay, these libraries or these playlists are actually quite valuable. I mean, believe it or not, guys. Um, yeah, you might see me do that. I'm trying to pop my ear. Terrible. Um, it's like every time I speak, it vibrates. I don't know what happened, but so far seeing the doctors and stuff, they think it's all normal and stuff. I don't know what it is exactly. Even the doctors, like ENTs, they thought that it was like a muscle that was stuck. It's not. Some gave me drops, didn't really work. Anyway, so kind of weird that I have to kind of pop my ears. Just telling you guys. Anyway, so there are people that are actually always referring back to these playlists for jigging rods, like slow jigging, fast jigging rods, and the playlists for the 101s are actually getting a lot of views, and viewers, and it's like a cycle, so every time they buy something, they go and they check, they listen to everything, and they consider the points and all that. So what I want to do is actually do a lot of these 101s. So the next one, I'm not too sure what it would be. you know it could be tie rubber, it could be casting or whatever, so we'll see. um, I'll have to look around the office and see exactly what I have that's easy to grab before I decide to actually do another one, because it's the series when it comes to this. You have to take the line into consideration, the reels, the rods, you know leaders and all this, and it could be different stuff that I have to dig up, so it's very difficult. you know um, but yeah, anyway, we'll do that. uh, Ultralight, I think that's the where the lures, it's at the very end already. That's rod, reel, line, lures. So I put the knots that I use in the lure bit. Um, and then after that, it would be tips, right? So let's see if you know I'll put together, it's like with the list, with the tips. I actually have a list. I put in one of the monitors. Okay, so this is how it looks like, guys. So I have one monitor. Okay, and then I put my notes here, and then there's you guys, right? So that's basically what the setup looks like here. So basically, I put my notes here in this screen, and then I see you guys here in this screen. So um, when I'm recording, that's the only time when I actually have notes, just to keep track. So there's going to be some tips for the rod, choosing rods and stuff, and then tips for the reels and all this. So I compile that so that I have bullet points, and then I explain. So that's how it goes. Okay, and that actually kind of takes time. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Again, members see it first. Okay, I just think that it's the way it is, guys. um, Obviously there's members only videos, so if you guys are what do you call this, you want to support the channel, memberships pretty big. Okay. um, there's two tiers, up to you guys which tier you want to be in. It depends on how much you want to support. So that's that. Like, subscribe, share. Alrighty, that's it for now, guys. Thanks so much, and see you next time. Class dismissed.